All right, so here we have section 0.5, systems of linear equations. All right, and we'll solve systems of linear equations. We saw these since algebra 1. And then here we're going to start seeing, yeah, linear equations with 3 variables. Okay, so here, but today we're just going to work on the 2. So there's 3 ways that we're going to look at solving them. Oh, first, systems of equations. They're a set of 2 or more equations. Okay, because we can only solve for if an equation has one variable. We can only solve equations that have one variable. If equations have 2 variables, then we need 2 different equations to solve for it. And if there are equations that have 3 unknowns, 3 variables, then we need at least 3 equations with those 3 variables to solve for each of them. Okay, and so on and so forth. Okay, so here we're going to just look at the 2 unknowns. So that means we're going to have 2 equations. And the first way to solve it, the first way that they always teach you to solve it in math classes, to solve by graphing. Okay, so yeah, let's put this on the notes and let's start looking at graphing. It should be fun. And if I don't make sense when I talk about graphing, feel free to look at any YouTube videos for help on graphing if you need help on that stuff. Okay, so here, solve each equation, system of equation by graphing. So we have some that are in slope-intercept form, y equals mx plus b. Some that are in standard form, x plus y equals a constant. And some that are not simplified. Okay, and yeah, we'll look at those. So let's look at each of those. So we'll just do one of these since it is, yeah, we'll just do one. So we'll just do number 1. So I'm gonna do this one in blue. Okay, so this is slope-intercept form, y equals mx plus b. Now when you're graphing these, you want to do 2 things. You want to find your b and m. Okay, so here our b is -2 and our m is 5. Okay, so the b is the number that's by itself. The m is the number that's multiplying by x. By itself, multiply with x. Okay, so that's how you can tell what the numbers are. So for the first one, we have b is -2, m is 5. All right, and for the slope for m, oh, our b is the y-intercept, and m is our slope. Okay, so we should know that. So the slope, it's always good to have it in fraction form. So 5 in fraction form is 5/1. All right, so that's done. Now let's start with graphing. So you always begin with b on the y-axis. Always begin with b on the y-axis. Okay, so on the y-axis, we're gonna go to -2 and we're gonna put a point. Ta-da, there's our b, -2. Okay, and then from there, we're gonna move up or down by the numerator of the m. Move up 5. Okay, so 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Don't put a dot yet. And then always move to the right. Even if our m is negative, always move to the right. Okay, there's one case where you'd want to move to the left. That's if you run out of space. And we might see one of those later. So up 5 and to the right 1. And then we draw a line through those 2 points. There you go. That looks good. All right, now let's do the red one. So here, this is going to be red. Here our m is -2. It's multiplying with x, and our b is 5. That's by itself. So b is 5, n is -2, or -2/1. So begin, and since this is a negative, our numerator is negative, we're going to move down 2. And you always move right, whatever that denominator is. So begin at 5 on the y-axis. And then move down 2, 1, 2, and to the right 1. Hey, hey, look at that. Perfect. So this is nice. They actually end up on the same point. Okay. So that's not always going to happen, but sometimes it does. And sometimes it's going to end up on a point that's not that nice. So it's going to be like a decimal, like in the middle somewhere. So you just have to estimate. So that's why graphing is not as accurate. So here our solution, our answer is that point there, which is 1, 3. And that's our answer. Ta-da! Finished. So our x is 1 and our y is equal to 3. That's what that means. Okay. So x equals 1, y equals 3. But you can just write it as a point. That's better. Okay. So if you want to try number 2, feel free to. I gave you a 0.5, I'm sorry. But just remember 0.5 is the same as 1/2. So 1/2. Okay, so it's already in fraction form, 1/2. So it's actually better. Let's put that on the notes. All right. So that's if it's in slope-intercept form. Let's look at if it's not. Let's look at if it's on standard form. So standard form is ax plus by equals c. Okay, so if it's in standard form, what you want to do is you want to find the intercepts. So find x and y intercepts. That's the secret. Okay, so let's do this one. This is going to be our blue one. So the way to find the x and y intercepts is you want to write it twice and then substitute 0 for the y and for the x. Okay, so basically you're just getting rid of the x or and the y. So here we're going to get rid of the y, and boom, there we go. And here we're going to get rid of the x, boom, and there's our y-intercept. Hey, that was easy, right? You can also solve for y and then put in slope-intercept form if you want. Okay, but I think this is better. So x is -2, and y is -2 as well, and that's our line. That's how to graph in standard form. And just draw a line through those two intercepts. That's it. Put points on axes. All right. So now let's do the second equation. 3x minus y equals 10. This one is going to be a little bit nicer. Or not nicer, but it's going to be a little bit more work, so you get to see some extra work. So here we're going to get rid of the y's. So we're going to substitute 0 for y, and if we do, there we get x equals 3x equals 10. That doesn't look good. And here we're going to substitute 0 for x, and we get negative y equals 10. Yeah, and then you just want to solve for each of those. So here, divide by 3, we get x equals 10/3, or x equals 3.3 repeating. So 3.3. Okay, and for me, I like to use decimals when graphing. After finding slope, the slope, it needs to be fractions. But when plotting points, decimals is the way to go for me. Okay, and for the y, let's solve for y. We're going to divide by -1, and so it just changes the sign. And there you go. So y equals -10, and x is 3.3. So 1, 2, 3, and 0.3, a little bit less than half. All right, is that accurate? Oh, no, it's not. So that's why graphing isn't the best way to get your answer, okay? But it's still okay. Close enough. Hey, and this one lines up perfectly. I guess since I graphed it so nicely. There you go. There's our answer. Where the two, oh, I think I forgot to mention this. Where the two lines intersect, that is our, um, yeah, that's our solution. So here we have 2, comma, -4. So our x is 2 and our y is -4. Okay, but you can write it like this. I prefer to write it in point form, coordinate form, and that's number 3. Okay, so let's do number 4, because number 4, we just have y equals and we have an x equals. Okay, so these are different. You saw it in Algebra 1, but you might have forgot. It's okay. So whenever you just have a variable, like y equals a number or x equals a number, what that means is y equals a number, it's going to be, if x is 0, your y is going to be that number. If x is 5, your y is going to be that number. So it's going to be at a horizontal line, okay? Which is a little odd because usually you think y, it's going to be vertical, but no. In this case, if it's y equals, it's going to end up being a horizontal line because it's going to be the same y. So that's a way to think about it. Same y. Okay. And likewise, for x, usually we think x is horizontal, like the x-axis. However, if it's x equals, it's going to be the same x. So that means it's going to be a vertical line. Same x. Okay. So here we just want to solve for x and y. So our y is already solved. It's already y equals -3. Horizontal line at y equals -3. Okay. So here at -3, if x is 0, our y is negative. That's not -3, that's -2. If x is 0, our y is, that's right, okay. If x is 0, our y is -3. If x is 1, our y is -3. If x is 5, our y is -3. If x is -5, our y is -3. See, no matter what the x is, it doesn't change our y. Our y is always going to be the same. So that's why we end up with this. This line here. All right. And likewise with the red one, the red one, it's not x equals, it's 2x equals. So that means we need to solve for x. So 2x equals 8. We're going to divide by 2, and we get x equals 4. Solve for x first. Okay, so we get x equals 4. So that means if y is 0, our x is 4. If y is 5, our x is 4. If y is -10, our y is 4. Okay, so this is the one that has no slope. So y equals has a 0 slope, a slope of 0, but x equals has an undefined slope, this horizontal line. All right, that's close enough. And there you go. So that's what that one looks like. And where the two lines intersect, they intersect at, wouldn't you know it, 4, comma, -3. 4, comma, -3. That's nice. That's our answer. X is 4, y is -3. All right. So that's how to graph y equals or x equals. You do see those quite a bit, so just look out for them. Make sure you know how to do it. Oh, sorry, I have one more. Okay, so let's do one more. Let's do, actually, we don't need to do this one, do we? Oh, yeah, maybe we will. Okay. Okay, so 5, it's almost in slope-intercept form, except the y is not by itself. So that just means you need to solve for y. Solve for y. So to solve for y, we need to divide everything by that coefficient of y, which is 3. And that way we get y equals 4/3. It's okay if the slope is a fraction. It's okay. And here we get 6/3, which is 2. Okay. So then after you do that, the the rest of it's the same. So find B and M. So our B is 2 and our M is 4/3. Okay, so begin at 2 and then move again on y-axis, move up 4 since it's positive. 1, 2, 3, 4, and then always right. 3, 1, 2, 3. And there you go. And if you ever want to see like when to move left, just let me know. There you go. Let's do the red one. Something smells good again. All right, so same thing, you want to solve for y. We're going to divide by 2, divide by 2, divide by 2, we get y equals. I'm going to write it as 1/2 x, okay? Because technically there is a coefficient of 1. It's invisible. So our coefficient is 1/2 now. And minus. And then I'll write this as 1/2, but usually I like to make my y-intercepts decimal. Okay, the slopes need to be in fraction form. Okay, so begin at 0.5 on the y-axis. So there you go. And then you're going to go up 1, right 2. So up 1, right 2. 1, 2. So right there. All right. And you can keep going also. Up 1, right 2. 1, 2. Okay, so notice how we always go to that 0.5 whenever we go up 1. Okay, so let's graph that line. Let's extend it, and there we go. Ta-da! Another perfect graph. Good job, Mr. T. Never mind, I was just joking. Not quite perfect. What is that? It looks like I'm going to estimate that to be negative 1.5, comma 0. There you go. Yeah, yeah. And then you can plug it in to see if that is correct. But yeah, again, graphing isn't the most accurate of ways to solve. And there you go. All right, so that's that. And now we're going to look at the substitution method. So substitution method is really cool. You just need to solve for one of the variables first. So you need either y equals or x equals. Okay, and then we're going to substitute into the other one and then solve for that variable and then plug it into that original y equals or x equals. And if you're thinking, huh, don't worry, we're going to see it right now. So here we go. There's an example. And here are some problems that we're going to look at. Yeah, those are good. All right. Okay, so first you want to check to see which one looks like it's easy to solve for y or x. I would say this number 7, this first equation looks good. We can solve for y easily. Okay, so solve for y or x. In this case, I'm going to solve for y. Why did I say that first equation is good? Because our coefficient is, it's almost 1, it's -1, so it's not too bad, right? So I'm going to subtract 5x from both sides, and we get -y equals -5x plus 16, and then divide everything by -1 to change. So basically change all the signs. So that becomes y equals positive 5x minus 16. Okay, and there we go. We have y equals. Now, what we're going to do is we're going to plug it into the second equation. So substitute into other equation. So our other equation is 2x plus 3y equals 3. And we're going to substitute it. That means we're going to move this over. Hey, move it. Give me some space. There you go. And what are we going to substitute there? We're going to substitute what the y is equal to, 5x minus 16. So we're going to put this in parentheses. There we go. And then we have 5x minus 16. And now we want to simplify. Okay. So simplify. So that 2x stays the same. That 3, we're going to distribute the 3. So 3 times 5x is 15x. And 3 times -16 is a number. It's -48 equals 3. 2x plus 15x is going to give us 17x minus 48 equals 3. Oh boy. All right. Now we're going to add 48 to both sides. And we get 17x equals, it's making me nervous, 45. We're going to divide both sides by 17. And we get x equals, I'm going to think it's, yeah. Oh, I'm sorry. What was I doing? I subtracted. Yeah, this should be 51. Okay, that's the importance of sleep. Okay, it's important to get a good night's sleep so you don't make mistakes like that. There you go. So 51, that looks better. All right, so 3. X equals 3. So after you solve for one variable, okay, we're going to substitute it back in to that one. And here we have y equals 5 times that 3 minus 16. And we get y equals 15 minus 16. So y equals -1. Ta-da! All right. So substitute back into y equals equation. Simplify or solve for y. All right, and then the last step is to put them as a point. So 3, comma, -1. Yeah, always x and then y. And that's it. That's our answer. That's where the two lines intersect. That's where the two lines intersect. That's it. questions. If you have any questions, feel free to email or ask or anything. Yeah, anytime. There you go. If you want to try 8, that'd be cool. It's 12:17. Can we finish another one? Yeah, so that's how you do substitution. I think that's good, right? Let's look at 9. It looks like a quick one. Okay, so sometimes you'll have the y equals and x equals already, and those are nice. Okay, so we have y equals already. It's already solved, so we just plug that in there. So we have x equals 4.5 plus, and then instead of y, we put 6 minus x. And simplify. So 6 plus 4.5 is x equals 10.5 minus x. Add x to both sides. You get 2x equals 10.5. Divide by 2. 10 goes into 10 5 times. 2 goes into 5, 2.5 times, so 25. There you go. Oi, oi, oi. So now we're going to plug that in. So you have the x, so substitute it back into that y equals. So y equals 6 minus 5.25. And then we get y equals 0.75. Oh boy. So there we go. 5.25 comma 0.75. All right. Yeah, so try those out. They're not too bad. And then next time we'll look at elimination. Okay. And yeah, I think that's it. Thanks.